everybody. Andy Gross, Law Office of Andrew P. Gross. We do estate planning and veterans disability benefits appeals in Maryland and DC. Although we will take VA disability benefits appeals wherever there are veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces. Today I wanted to do another video on the PACT Act and effective dates. And this is really important. Effective dates are super important topic in VA disability law because they're a little bit complicated. So let's talk about the basics of effective dates first, right? So an effective date is the date that the VA starts the clock running and starts paying a veteran on their disability. And the general rule on this is that the effective date of the disability is the date of the receipt of the claim or the date the condition arose. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule, like, for instance, if you apply for a VA disability within 1 year of leaving active duty, the effective date goes back to the date that you left active duty. If you file an intent to file and you finish an application within 1 year of that intent to file, you get the effective date of the intent to file. So what this means is that, like, let's say you apply for VA disability benefits in, let's say, January, and in July, the VA comes back and says, we're going to grant you a disability rating that pays you $1,000 a month. And I'm just, again, using round numbers because I'm not that good at math. July, that's 6 months after January. They're going to pay you $6,000 in retroactive benefits. Now, one way we say we got to preserve the effective date is by what they call the continuous pursuit of a claim. So what this means is that, oftentimes the VA will come back with a rating decision after you apply, and they will deny the claim for one reason or another, right? Oftentimes, as in my practice, they will deny for ridiculous reasons. Either it's a bad CMP exam, they didn't get all the records, who knows, who cares, doesn't really matter. For this purpose, they'll deny the claim. If you appeal that claim within 1 year, or rather that decision within 1 year of the rating decision, it is considered continuously pursued. Again, this applies to cases under the Appeals Modernization Act. There's kind of a different set of rules for legacy claims, which is prior to 2019. Not going to get into details on that. But continuous pursuit can go on years, right? So you file a claim, 6 months later you get denied. You file a supplemental claim, you get denied. You file a higher level review within a year, you get denied. Eventually you may file within a year of that denial, you file a BVA appeal, and all this goes on for years because you're appealing within 1 year, but then it takes the VA some time to make another decision. And you go on and on and on and on, and eventually gets to the Board of Veterans Appeals, and maybe it gets granted the Board of Veterans Appeals, but this could be years after the initial claim. If you've been continuously pursuing that claim, meaning you've been continuously appealing that claim, they're going to give you back pay all the way back to the date of initial claim. And this can sometimes mean tens of thousands of dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the disability and depending on what the disability is. So it can get really complicated from there, though, because there's earlier effective dates that we can get through something called the pending claims doctrine sometimes, which is a complicated video that I have yet to record, but I'll talk about it some other time. Sometimes there's a queue if you don't continuously pursue a claim. Sometimes there's, again, lots of different reasons why you might get an earlier effective date other than continuous pursuit. But continuous pursuit is the most common way where you apply, you get denied, you file appeal that is on time, and you get denied and you continue appealing until it gets granted. Again, you have to file those appeals within 1 year for it to be continuous pursuit. So, what does this have to do with the PACT Act? Well, as you know, the PACT Act added a bunch of different claims or conditions to the presumptive list for burn pit exposure and for Agent Orange even. So, for instance, stomach cancer, various brain tumors, brain cancers, respiratory cancers are now presumptive if you have been deployed to various places in the Middle East since the start of the Gulf War in 1990. So, let's say a veteran applies for this disability, let's say a stomach cancer disability, in 2018. and they get denied, and they appeal, and they get denied, and they appeal, and they get denied, and eventually goes up to the Board of Veterans' Appeals. But now the PACT Act comes along and says, nope, that condition is presumptive. If, right now, as the law stands, and as things stand with the VA is going to give you the effective date of the change of the law, even if it's been continuously pursued. I'll say that again. If you have this claim that has been continuously going, under ordinary circumstances, if it finally gets granted, they're going to give you the effective date of the initial date of the claim, if it's been continuously pursued. But now, under the law, the PACT Act says, well, it doesn't matter how long you've been pursuing it. If you get granted under a presumptive condition, it's going to be the date the law changed, which is August 10th, 2022. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but Andy, that's not fair. And you're right, it's not. I think it's an erroneous reading of the law that the VA has adopted. I guarantee you that we will see litigation on this. But if you have come down with stomach cancer or breast cancer or prostate cancer due to burn pits in 2017, and you file a claim promptly and you keep appealing, and you've done all this work, and you've been disabled for all this time, it really kind of stinks for the VA to come in and say, well, the effective date is actually the date they passed the law, even though you've been pursuing it all this time. It's not like you weren't disabled before August 10th, 2022, and you may have gone out and gotten an independent medical opinion to tie the toxic exposures to this law. It also stinks that it's being held against, it being held that it took so long for this law to pass, or for the VA to recognize these things as presumptive. It really doesn't seem fair. So there's definitely going to be some litigation on this. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm preparing for it, though. I'm speaking to other VA disability benefits attorneys because I'm already seeing cases come back where we've been continuously pursuing this claim, and the VA saying, well, the presumptive service condition was only set in law August 10th, 2022, so that's the effective date. Anyway, stay tuned. It gets complicated. So if you've been pursuing this claim for years and it finally gets granted under a burn pit presumptive, PACT Act presumptive exposure, that's kind of crummy, but we are working on this to get this changed. The other thing is that if you file even now, they will go back to the date that the presumption took effect. So if you file within 1 year of the claim, so if you haven't filed your PACT Act related claims yet, you still have a little bit of time, not a whole lot. But if you file within 1 year of the law passing, August 10th, 2022, they'll give you that August 10th, 2022 effective date. So that actually benefits you. But where it really hurts folks is the folks that have been pursuing it all this time. Again, great that it's presumptive, great that we can prove service connection, but we think that the VA is shortchanging folks on the effective date and therefore all the payments that they should have been giving them all this time. Anyway, if you've had your service-connected disability denied, if you are unsatisfied with your rating, do give us a call, do reach out, see if we can help you on your claim. Like I said, we do VA disability claims for veterans all over the country, all over the world even, as long as they are veterans of the United States military. And if you have questions or comments, I hope you like the new digs. This is the first video I've shot since I've moved my offices. Let me know, drop a comment. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. I can't help every veteran out there in my practice, but if one of these videos gives you an idea or motivates you to apply, then I think that is worth that's worth the effort. So with that said, like, subscribe. If you have a VA disability that you want to have me take a look at because you think you've been wrongly denied, reach out and we'd be happy to help. Anyway, until next time, take care.